Alrighty, so if you want to come to lie on your back or stay seated, sort of whatever feels good in your body this morning, I want you to sort of reflect and see what's going to serve you to start this morning, sitting or lying. It's up to you what you'd like to do. And just settling in. So if you've chosen either position, you can go ahead and soften your gaze or close your eyes. It might feel good just to take a moment to see where your shoulders are at and giving them a chance to sort of drop down towards the pelvis. And taking this opportunity to settle on your mat, finding the support of your mat and all the places the mat is touching your body. If it is feeling a little tight in the low back, you may want to keep your knees bent if you decided to lie down. And if you need some support under your head, you're welcome to put a blanket or a cushion underneath to support it. Taking a nice deep breath in, filling up your lungs. And a deep exhale, letting it all go. Let's do that again. Nice deep breath in. And deep breath out. Simply becoming a witness to your breath and how it's moving this morning. This might be the first time you've actually thought of your breath this morning. So just take some nice deep breaths. And then slowly bring your awareness to your tips of your toes. What are they doing this morning? And the tips of your fingers. And go ahead and just start bringing some gentle movement into the toes, into those fingers. You might want to slightly tuck the chin towards the notch in the chest, the top of that sternum, just to give a little length to the neck. And then if you are lying down, gently and slowly, come to roll to the side and press yourself up, finding a seated position to start with this morning. Good. Just place your hands right around those kneecaps, just slightly above. Go ahead and take the heels of your hands and just kind of press a little bit down, nothing too firm, but just a little bit. And then we'll rotate the torso, bringing it forward and then coming all the way back. And what might feel good, if you want to connect the breath here, is inhale as you come forward. Exhale as you round back. So really try to see if you can pull that spine back as you come to the back position. So almost like a little bit of a mini cat there, where we're flexing that spine forward. Good. And then we'll come and go the opposite direction. So the heels of the hands are actually pressing into those thighs a little bit, providing a little bit of traction, a little bit of connection as we rotate around our spine. Good. Do one more time around. And then we'll come to a nice upright seated position. Good. You might want to rock a little bit from side to side, sort of find where that pelvis is. Go ahead and grab something to sit up on if you want. Just getting a little bit of lift through the pelvis to get that spine nice and long. So I thought we'd do just a little bit of breath work here to start with this morning. And I'm just going to show you real quick. It's really quite simple once you do it, but it just takes a couple steps. So go ahead and watch me for the first round, and then you can join me after. So I'm going to tuck my chin down to my chest. On an inhale, I'm going to raise my head up and also bring my hand up. So I'm inhaling here. As I exhale, I take my right hand to my left shoulder, and then I look over my right shoulder. So exhale, Inhale, open back up. Exhale, lower back down. So then I come to my left side, left hand comes up, head comes up on inhale. Exhale as I look over, touch the shoulder. Inhale as I open up. Exhale as I close down. So let's try that together. I'll do my best to cue it. I might just say inhale, exhale at some point, and we'll go through it maybe like twice, maybe 3 times, just to settle ourselves here with our breath. So tuck that chin down. On your inhale, take that right hand up, inhaling up. Exhale, hand crosses the body, head turns, looks over right shoulder. Inhale again, opening back up, looking forward. Exhale, chin and hand come down. We'll go to the other side. Inhale, left hand comes up. Exhale, look over that left shoulder, hand comes to right shoulder. Inhale, open up. Exhale, slowly drop that gaze and hand back down. One more time here. Right hand comes up. Inhale. Exhale, cross the body, take a shoulder check. Inhale, open back up. Exhale, coming back down. Other side, last time, left hand comes up. Inhale. Exhale, cross the hand, shoulder check. Inhale, opening up. And exhale, closing down. So slowly bringing your gaze back up and then just have a moment just to settle here. See what that breath work just did for you. What does it feel like in your body? And then as you're ready, go ahead and start rolling those shoulders. Now, I've forgotten the name of this breath, so I apologize. I did it this week with my senior teacher, and I'm thinking, I can't remember what it was called, but it's really interesting. It almost takes a little brain effort to sort of coordinate the movement with the breath and crossing the arm over the body, and we'll come the other way with those shoulder rolls. Great, and let's kick our legs out in front of us. Just give them a little shake out. You can put your hands on your kneecaps, just give yourself a little bit more of a rumble. And then we'll kick our legs to the side and come onto hands and knees. So all the way up to those hands and knees position. Hands underneath the shoulders, wrists underneath those elbows. We're gonna have knees right under those hips, press down onto the tops of the feet. Here we go. From here, kick back that left toes. So really kick that heel back, almost just like into a bit of a calf stretch. So dropping that heel back, give yourself a chance to get a nice lengthen through that left calf. Make sure that pinky toe also makes the journey. Is that pinky toe still pressing? Good. And then bring that left knee to meet the right. Pull that right leg back now, really extend that leg back behind you, tuck those toes under and press those toes into the ground. Bringing back that right knee, we're taking the left leg back behind us again. Find that nice long position. But this time I'd like you to take your left foot and cross it over the right leg. So you're bringing it into a diagonal. So right across, you're gonna feel a really big opening through that left front hip. And then take your gaze and look over to the right and try to see those left toes. So real strong side left body stretch. Good work. And then bring the gaze back between the hands. Release those left toes one more time, nice and long. And then bring the left knee in, allowing that right knee to kick all the way back. Press into those toes. Find that long calf stretch. And then lifting that right foot over the left, diagonal. Find that connection between the earth and your toes. And then taking that gaze, look over the left shoulder. Look for those toes on the right-hand side, or the right foot, I should say. Stay long through your spine, lengthen through the crown of your head, and feel that real big opening on the right side of the body. Take the gaze back between the hands, and allow that right foot to come back. Press into those toes one last time, and then bring the right knee to meet the left. We're going to press ourselves up to stand on our knees. I'm just going to face you for a moment and then give those wrists a little bit of shake out. Take your hands together at the heart center and press your palms together. So really press into those hands. Those elbows might come out to the side body here. The forearms parallel to the floor. Now press, 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 press. Feel every single fingertip kissing its neighbor on the other hand. So really press into those fingertips. Good. And then from there, peel the fingertips apart while you try to keep the fingers together. So you're almost opening your hand like a little tulip. Open up and then close those fingers to kiss once more. Open now, spread those fingers apart. So think about a big spread in those hands. And same thing, open those fingers apart from each other, almost a bigger flower. You might have a little bit more range of motion as you open those fingertips up. Good. So you see my hands here. And then close those fingertips. This time now, bring the palms apart, but keep the fingertips kissing together. Press those fingertips together. Press, press, press. Now, what's happening in your body, in your lower body? Are your feet still working for you? Press down through those tops of the feet. Try not to load up on those knees. And then from here, see if you can bring the fingers together as you keep those fingertips touching. So kind of coming into a little steeple position. Cross those fingers and clasp those fingers together, and then truly bring just the pointer finger together. So you have this sort of like steeple position in your fingertips. Bring those arms all the way up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to side bend all the way over to the right. So long arms, reach, think of that pointer finger reaching like a rocket ship all the way over to one side. I just channeled me teaching kids. Sorry, rocket ship, everybody. And then reach all the way up, bringing your fingertip to point up towards the ceiling. And then we'll come all the way over to the other side. All I can think of is rocket ship, so I apologize. That's all I got this morning. Rocket ship. I guess they would have talked about rocket ships on Romper Room, so it all applies. Lift those fingertips all the way up. Now bring those hands down in front of you once more, opening those fingers, pressing those fingertips together, really pressing those fingertips and feel the tips of each of your finger. All right, we're gonna dive back down onto the mat, hands and knees here. Really now see, what do you feel in your hands? We've just kind of given the fingers and the palms a little bit more kind of tactile sensation. So we should feel that a little bit more. And from here, take your elbows and bring them to where your wrists are. So elbow down should be right under the shoulder, elbow down. So forearms and hands are now down on the mat. Taking your gaze and looking down, we're going to take our cat-cow now in this position today. So tuck your tail under, lift up the small of your back as you tuck your chin, nose, and forehead down, getting a real big rounding through the spine. Releasing that belly, tipping the pelvis forward as if it was a bowl of water, tip it out, and lifting the heart through those arms. Nose comes up into that cow. So take yourself through about, let's say about 5 times through at your own speed through this cat-cow on the forearms. Feels a little different. The hands are getting a little bit of a reprieve, but it does kind of tighten up the position a little bit. You start to feel a bit more sensation through the shoulders, through the mid-back. Just a little bit of different movement. Now think about those feet. Are they still working for you? Press down if you can into those feet. We don't need to load up the upper body. And once you've reached your 4 or 5, come back to a nice neutral position. So nice long spine from here. Now we'll take our left hand and place it behind our right elbow. So you're almost rotating the left arm, so it's coming behind that right elbow. Then stretch that right arm out in front of you and see if you can bring your torso down towards the mat. The left forearm is there for you to place your forehead on. So your hips stay up, stacked over top of the knees,
but we bring that forehead down to that left forearm as we extend the right hand above. And I apologize, I'm not mirroring you right now because I just twisted my body towards the camera. So find that nice long release. Excellent. Now bring the body back up so that right elbow is underneath the right shoulder. Rotate that left arm, bring that left elbow under left shoulder, and we'll come to the other side. So right hand behind left elbow. Stretch that left arm all the way out and allow that right arm to come up a little bit so that it meets your forehead. So hips are stacked over the knees. Knees are at 90 degrees, really pressing those hips up towards the ceiling. Nice long spine. Looking good, everybody. Nice work. And then we'll bring that right arm back a little bit to right under elbow, right under shoulder, and bring that left arm back, left elbow under left shoulder. So option here now, staying in this position, we're going to extend both of our arms forward. So this is going to be very individual of how far you can actually come down towards your mat. So extend first. Feel those fingerprints in your mat. You got those hands working. You may stay here, totally fine, because we're trying to keep that pelvis up. It's almost like downward facing dog arms, but the legs aren't kind of in the party. They're kind of supporting us here. Or you can come even a little further and let that forehead kiss the mat. So it really depends on the flexibility through your shoulders and through the back muscles. The lats are really getting a long stretch. So just you decide where that can be for you. And breathe. Did the breath quicken a little bit? Or is it nice and soft and fluid? It is a very strong position as we try to keep the balance of the weight in both our hands and our feet. Good work, everybody. And then walk yourself up to bring those forearms back to the mat. Take a chance to look at your hands for a moment. So arms are parallel, elbows under shoulders, back to this forearm position. Hips have not moved anywhere. So take a look at your hands and just really spread them apart. Remember when we had our hands in prayer position, you spread those fingers. So think about the pressure that you are applying, the two hands together in that position. Think of that now as you press your hands into the mat. Curl the toes under. And we're going to press up, lifting our hips up as we shift our torso forward. So we're coming into what is considered dolphin. If you're unsure, go ahead and take a look at me. We're doing what it kind of is like a downward facing dog, except we're doing it from our elbows and our forearms. So this is a stronger pose. You may feel it relatively strong in those shoulders a little bit, the little less flexibility there. And so bring the knees down as much as you need. They don't have to straighten by any means. So trying to lift those hips up, up, up. And slowly, you might find that you could shift the torso a little bit closer to those thighs. And then slowly, slowly lower those knees down. Release the toes back to the mat. And then your choice, if you want to just do one arm forward like we did, or bring both arms forward once more and just get a nice long stretch through the spine. So if you want, just right arm forward or just left arm forward or both arms forward. Still keeping those hips up, changing sort of the placement of the pelvis this morning. Good, and reconnect to that breath. And then slowly bring those forearms back underneath you for support. From here, we're going to kick our left toes back as we've done already this morning. So they're going to come back. And now let the the right leg come with you. And what do we get? We got a bit of a forearm plank. So come down to this position. Try to keep those hips level to the ground. If you need to stay on the knees, you can come to the knees and lift the toes off the ground. So shortening the lever, shortening the length of our body, or try that long forearm plank. For 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and drop those knees. Bring them back up underneath the hips. And then we'll take those knees nice and wide, so that they're almost as wide as your mat. And then this time, if you'd like, sink those hips back a little bit more like our traditional child's pose. Go ahead and try to find that nice long spine, releasing the hips back to those heels. Connect to your breath. You might feel good to sort of sway a little bit from side to side. And then bring yourself all the way back up to a nice tabletop position. Great job, everybody. Strong work with those forearms on the ground. A little bit different that the shoulders sort of feel it a bit more. So we're going to move into the hips a bit. So take your right leg and bring it between your hands. So you're kind of in this sort of small lunge position. I will come to face you as well. This sort of looks like this. And then tuck your back toes under, lift the knee slightly off the mat, and then wiggle the leg back a little bit. So kind of opening up that lunge. Go ahead and drop that knee back down. Good. Plant your left hand down on the ground and go ahead and bring that right hand all the way up, taking ourselves into a nice twist. Take your fingertips up towards the ceiling. You can look towards the ceiling or keep the gaze forward, your choice. Soften through the left elbow, try not to hyperextend it, and pull back on that right hip. Trying to bring it back just a tiny bit. Allow those fingertips to come down. And now take that right foot and walk it out to the outside of your mat. So walk it over so you've got space. We're going to take our right hand and bring it inside that right leg. So it's kind of like a wide lunge. So if this feels good for you, go ahead and try to pop up on those back toes. You could lift the knee up or stay down. Your choice here, taking ourselves into our lizard pose. Really thinking about that right hip coming back, left hip coming forward. Square that pelvis to the short end of your mat. And then if you'd like, you can bring the hands down, tucking those elbows in and bringing the forearms down onto the mat. Now, this might be a bit too strong for some of us, so we can stay with our hands planted on the mat, or you can try to bring those forearms down. Watch that that right knee doesn't fall out. It wants to fall out, so squeeze it into the midline of your body. Hold it for 3, keep breathing, 2, and 1. Go ahead and press yourself up. Walk that right foot back underneath you. Hands are now on either side of the foot. Knee can drop down if it was up. And then we're going to pull both of our hips back, thinking about coming onto the heel of that right foot. And then hands can slide back, hinge forward, and try to shorten that distance between the torso and the thigh. Front knee can be slightly bent. Drop your gaze down. Go ahead and look at those lovely toes. If anybody's got a pedicure so far, I really need one. Oh, goodness me. Mind you, we have a couple more months before sandal season, so one day, and then walk that foot forward, bringing the forefoot, the toes back into that lunge position. Excellent. Drop that right leg back behind you because we're coming over to the left. Bring that left foot forward. Here we go. Between those hands, pop up onto those back toes and walk that foot slightly back to get a lengthen through that front of the hip. So we're going to intensify that stretch through the front of that'll be your right hip. Square those hips if you can. So pull back on that left hip, pull forward on the right, walking out to the side, our left foot to the outside of our mat. Allow that left hand to come into the middle. So 2 hands and then a foot. Now, if this is good for you, you're welcome to pop that knee up. Feel a little bit more strong stretch through that groin. And then allowing those forearms to come down, if that is good in your practice, make sure that that left knee stays kissing close to the left shoulder. Taking ourselves real big hip opener here. Find length through the spine. Square those hips to the front of your mat. Press down, down, down for 3, 2,
And 1. We can lower that back knee down, walk the left foot over, left hand can come on the other side. Excellent. Pull that pelvis back, flip those toes up on that left foot, coming back, keeping that distance between the torso and the thigh as small as we can. Go ahead and take your gaze to those lovely toes once more. The more the toes come up, the deeper the pull on the back of the lower leg. Coming forward now, back to that left foot, planted on the ground. Now from here, plant both hands really strongly on the floor. Pick up that back right knee. Start bouncing a little bit of bounce. Oh, I sounded like a hip hop song there for a second. A little bit of bounce. And then we're going to bring that back leg to meet the front. So make it a real big dynamic, pull them together into a real generous forward fold. So go ahead and drop that head, let it release down to the ground. Let the arms hang or even hold opposite elbows, releasing through that low back. Always important to know, do I need to bend my knees a bit just to get that length, or can I straighten them? Everyone is going to look a little different. And slide those hands up the shins, just come halfway. Hands can come to the tops of the thighs. Nice long spine, gaze down to the floor. And then hinge forward, allowing those hands to come all the way back down. Take the hands now and see if you can clasp behind the ankles. So almost cupping the calf muscle and back behind the ankle, just to change it up a bit. And then from there, see if you can bring the elbows and bring them out to the side. So almost like you're getting a nice opening through the shoulder blades, as well as through the back of the low back. Really find that open on the back body. Continue to breathe. And then on your next inhale, go ahead and come up, sliding those hands up the legs. This time, we're going to bring the hands away from the body, kind of in an airplane position. So palms up towards the ceiling, almost like you're ready to take off, but you're not going to take off anywhere. So keep those palms facing up and then hinge forward. Last time here, really releasing. So go ahead and grab those ankles if you want. You want to grab the elbows, whatever is going to feel best for your forward fold before we stand up. So wherever those arms want to go ahead and take them there. Connection through the thighs and the torso. And then if you're feeling really strong today, take those arms and frame them around your head and go ahead and come to standing, or put your hands on the hips and slowly come up. So up to you how much you want for strength, how much you want for relaxation, and we'll come to standing. Awesome. Drop those arms down and we'll just release those arms to the side. Fantastic. Alrighty, so we're on standing. We'll find this nice mountain pose, feet parallel. Go ahead and take a quick glance down at those feet. And then once you feel like you've grounded into that nice mountain, you can drop those hands to the side, releasing the shoulders down to the floor, lift up through those inner thighs. And go ahead and just take a moment to feel, how does your body feel? What sort of sensations do you have? Is there more awareness in your palms this morning after we've been working on the hands? Or maybe a little bit through the feet. And now we'll shift our weight over to our left leg. So just sort of shift it there. Try not to fall into that hip, but just try to lean into that and peel that right heel off the ground. We're going to take it through a little bit of hip flexion and extension. So just some movements forward and back. A little bit of balance. Take a look at where you think your hips are. You might want to put your hands on top of your pelvis, and is one hand higher than the other? Potentially. And just try to square those hips. And now let's go a little faster. Pull in through the belly button. Strong through the middle. Woo! And then let's add those arms. Opposition. I'm inspired. I went cross country skiing yesterday. So here we go. Here's the movement pattern, forward and back. So as my right leg comes forward, my left hand comes forward. Good, good, good. We usually don't feel that when we walk, but that's what happens, a counterbalance in our body. And then slow it down, slow it down. Woo, a little balance trick here. And then come to stillness. Just pause. See what it feels like. Is that left side feeling a little bit heavier? A little bit more space potentially in the other side? Good. Now ground into that right foot. Peel that left heel up, and we'll take it for a spin, forward and back. Hands again can come to the tops of the pelvis. See what's going on there today. And a little faster. And probably best maybe not to look at the screen, because all of us look so good and moving so well that we can topple over then if we're watching each other. And then add those arms. Some of us might need that arm movement right away just to get that stability. It's really interesting. Just explore. Be curious about your body. What's happening? And a little bit faster, a little bit faster. And then slow it right down. Coming to stillness. What's happened? Good. And we'll take our hips nice and wide now. Step nice and wide apart. So take those feet and slightly turn them in. So it might look like your toes are tipped in a bit, but truly the sides of your feet are actually parallel to your mat. So it's about one leg length distance apart. So take it nice and wide. And from here, let's take our arms up nice and high above our head. Let's clasp our hands together and make that steeple finger again. So that steeple finger up towards the ceiling, and we'll tip all the way to the left. Finding space, really ground down through that right foot. Lifting all the way up, coming all the way over to the right. Reach all the way up. Now here's the trick here. Think about that steeple above your head. Think of it being one long line all the way down your spine, and we're simply rotating around that spine. So think of yourself rotating around it. Take a look over to the right. Twist, twist, twist. Might feel like you can't go as far, but we're keeping the integrity, right? We're staying upright and rotating. Good. Take one breath once you get there. And then slowly rotate. Let's go all the way to the other side. Rotate, 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 rotate. Think long through the torso. Keep that pelvis underneath you and see if you can keep it from moving. We're just moving the spine. Gaze stays between those arms because they're there to kind of frame us. Watch that the knees aren't locking out. And then slowly rotate back. Awesome. Bring those fingertips down, really wide fingertips, wide, 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 wide. And then from here, keeping those arms here if you can, start hinging from those hips. Make yourself nice and big, bringing that torso first parallel to the floor. Take a moment to press down through that big toe mound. Think about the crown of the head coming forward. Almost feel like the weight of your body is bringing yourself forward so that the heels almost want to peel off the ground, but they won't. And then using your legs, bring yourself all the way back up. Excellent. Keep those arms out. Whew. That was strong. We're using those arms and those legs. Hinging at those hips again, bringing yourself forward, 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 or at parallel. Let's go a little further than parallel. Bring that torso to come as close to the thighs as possible, keeping those arms out to the side. Spread those fingertips. Drop the head, let it fall. And then using those legs really strong, press down through all 10 toes. Lift yourself all the way back up. Strong through those arms. Keep those arms going. There's no weight there, but it's hard. So hold, hold, hold. One more time through. Hinge at those hips. Come all the way down, down, down. Slow and controlled. Connect to your breath. Really keeping those arms up. In line with those shoulders. Drop the head. And then finally release those hands either to your ankles, or if you can touch your hands to the ground, you can touch the ground down below you. So wherever those hands can land, they need to be grounded on something. So the floor or your legs are the option. So in this forward fold, I want you to drop your buttocks down, bending those knees, drop the buttocks down. So really wide squat, and then lift the hips back up. So go through that a couple times as you sort of bend those legs and then straighten them. So go through your range of motion of what's available in your knees and just see what starts to happen as we bend and then straighten. Now, for some of us, it might feel like this is really too wide of a stance. So on our last one, I encourage you to sort of shorten that stance a little bit. I walk my feet in just a tiny bit as I bend down and then I come back up. I might feel like I have a bit more movement just by narrowing my stance a bit. So come to stillness in a nice wide-legged forward fold. Drop the head down. And what you may notice is you've got yourself even a little bit lower. Every time we bend and flex, we're able to sort of get that length a little bit more. Here's our inversion for today. So no headstands, but this is a good enough one. Nice and long through the spine, letting that traction, that gravity pull the spine down. Keep breathing. Hands again can be on the floor or your legs, wherever you feel grounded. Straighten those knees as best you can as you make that connection through the torso. This is really strong, really. If you're feeling any dizziness at all, then slowly come up. We're going to make our way up just momentarily, but getting lots of blood to the brain here in this nice forward fold. Take one more breath. We're going to bring those arms back into the game here. Bring those arms out to shoulder height. Spread those fingertips. So if this is not feeling good to you, take the hands to the hips. We're going to use those legs to bring ourselves all the way back up. Nice work. Drop those arms down. Heel toe those feet back together. Heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. Come back to mountain and just stand for a moment. Now imagine there is a chair right behind us. Go ahead and press those hips back, sitting down into that chair, watching where those knees like to go. So just take a glance at those knees. Are they falling in? Are they falling out? Or are they just simply extension out of the thighs? Good. Sit down a little lower. Press those hips back, long through the spine. And then reach those arms out to the side. Spread those fingertips apart. Good. Bring those hands to the heart center. Bring them all the way in. Here we go. Fingertips kissing each other. Bring those fingers together and then open up that little tulip. Little tulip. Close those fingers up. Spread them apart now. Open up that really big flower. Maybe like a begonia, maybe. I'm talking spring flowers here. Close them up. Close the fingers up. Clasp those hands together. Make that little steeple again. And this time, see if you can take that steeple just forward. Pressing forward. Stay in that low chair. You got this. Hold it here. Keep breathing. The hands are all about the distraction, my friends. Hold it here. Strength through those legs for 3, 2, 1. Press and lift, 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 lift. Use those legs all the way, and let's take those arms all the way up. And bend over to the right. Good. Come all the way up.
And bend over to the left. All the way up. Let's twist again, twisting to the right. Twisting to the left. And coming back to center, let those fingertips just float down. Good work, everybody. So we'll take ourselves to the front of our mat if you're not there already. So stepping forward. Take a big breath in, really bring lots of air into the body. And as you exhale, go ahead and fold yourself down, down, down. Close leg forward fold, not a wide one like we did before. And then plant those hands down, come all the way down to our hands and knees position. So just scoot yourself down onto that mat. From here, try to keep the hands underneath those shoulders as you walk your knees back slightly. So the knees are going to be no longer underneath the pelvis. Go ahead and drop the hips slightly. So from here, we're going to tuck those elbows in and slowly bring ourselves down to the mat. And you know what? We're not staying there. We're going to press ourselves all the way back up. So position is those hands right under those shoulders, elbows glued to the side as we come all the way down and up, down and up, coming down and up, down and up. One more time, strong arms down and up. And for your final one, come all the way down. Awesome job, everybody. Go ahead and take the arms out to the side. You can make them into a T position and just let that forehead come down to the mat. From here, we'll take those hands and bring them down to the sides of our bodies and flip our hands up so that the palms are facing towards the ceiling. So drop your shoulders away from those ears, press down through the tops of your feet, and slowly peel your forehead, nose, and chin up off the mat. This time through, press the tops of the hands down into the ground. Long through the spine, try not to get any crinkles on the back of your neck, and then slowly come back down. Trying that again, but this time we're going to raise those hands off the mat. Forehead comes up. Nose, chin, opening the heart forward, lifting those arms up, but squeeze those shoulder blades together. Pulling that heart forward, but chin staying slightly tucked in towards the chest. Long through the neck, and then slowly lower down. Awesome job. Peel that forehead up again. Nose, chin. This time lift the hands, squeeze those shoulder blades, and can you contract just your right buttocks? Lift just right leg up, just the right leg, lifting up. Beautiful. Slowly come, let everything come down. Going over to the left side now, lifting the forehead up, nose, chin, arms, hands, shoulder blades, left glute contract. Teacher training yoga anatomy, and people did not realize that they were separate. The two glutes, they can work on their own by themselves. So this is a perfect example where the right can relax and the left is contracting, opening the body back, and then slowly lowering down. Let's make it a whole full meal deal. Peel that forehead, nose, chin, hands, shoulder blades, squeeze, both glutes contract, lift those legs up, bring that body up, as high as you can. Heart come forward through those two shoulders, breathing, connect to the breath for 3, 2, and 1. Awesome work. Relax it all down to the ground, bending those knees, and go ahead and windshield wiper those legs from side to side. Lots of strength through that back body, through those shoulder blades. Getting those big glute muscles contracting to bring you all the way up into that back extension. Now take those hands and bring them right underneath the shoulders. We'll drop both feet down to the ground. Now this one is going to be an interesting one to cue. I'm hoping if you look at the video, you might be able to see me too. I might have to change my orientation. We will take our right knee up to hip height. So let it come sort of scan across the ground. So you've almost turned your legs into the number, well, it's not the number 4. It's just kind of brought the hip to a bend, knee out at hip height, ankle underneath knee. So hopefully you can sort of find that sort of lift up to the side of that right leg. So it sort of is like a U shape on the one side with the right side. The head can stay down and forward. So just trying to get an opening through that hip joint. And just let it release to the mat here. This is sort of the beginning of a floor spinal twist that I think we're going to leave for today, but I'm just kind of sprinkling this in today, and hopefully next week I'll be able to put more pieces together. It's like a multi-step. Feels like IKEA instructions. I got to do it step by step. So we'll go here today and then allow that right leg to come down, releasing to the left. You can shift those hips from side to side, and then we'll come over to the right side. So again, bring that knee up across the floor, bringing it up to the height of your pelvis. And so depending on what type of floor you have, you might be able to glide the leg much more easier than others. So just depends on what my hard word I just tried. It slid much easier than my mat. So all the things we have to figure out when we're at home. Allow the pelvis to drop down to the earth, the pubic bone in front of the pelvis. See if that can sink a little lower. And then releasing that leg back down to meet the right. Awesome job, everybody. Go ahead and bend those knees one more time and just knock the legs from side to side, letting that pelvis sort of go with the legs, so lifting slightly up. That pelvis will lift off the mat. And now go ahead and push yourself all the way up. And we'll swing those legs out to the side and come all the way down onto our backs. Take those knees right away into the chest. Adjusting ponytails as needed. Bring those knees to flush into the chest. If it feels good for you, you're welcome to peel the head up and bring the nose towards the knees. And if it's available to you, you might even try to grab your feet, taking yourself into a really tiny ball, whatever that looks like for you. Slowly releasing the legs down. Extend that right leg all the way out. And then we'll take that left knee, bent knee, and bring it up over top of that right leg. So just like sort of crossing it a little bit. We'll take our opposite hand, our right hand, to our left thigh, and slowly let that left knee fall towards the right. So we'll come into a nice twist. The gaze can go towards the right, it can stay in the middle, or you can look over to the left-hand side. Whatever feels best for your twist this morning. Trying to release that left leg down, down, down. Not forcing it with the right hand, just simply letting gravity shift that leg down towards the earth. And then releasing the head back so that you're looking towards the ceiling, and then allowing that twist to come undone. So releasing that left leg, we'll drop that left leg straight, bending the right leg, and we'll come over the other side. So right leg bent, come over the left leg, taking the left hand to the right thigh, right arm out to the side. We'll slowly tip towards the left, getting a really juicy stretch to that low back. Gaze can be up, the gaze can be over to the left, or gaze can be to the right. Allow the head to come first, looking up towards the ceiling, and then we'll slowly release that right leg back up towards the floor. Go ahead and straighten both legs out. Reach those hands above your head, clasping the hands, making that little steeple, pointer finger to pointer finger. Press those pointer fingers together and see how long you can make your body. Really find length, long, long, long. You should feel a stretch through the abdominal skin, all the way through the fronts of the thighs, up the backs of the arms. Really find length as long as you can. And then slowly let those hands come down to the back of the neck. And we'll find the base of our skull. The occipital bone is kind of right in the back. You can sort of feel it with your fingertips a bit. And we'll take our little clasped hand, close the steeple off now, just clasped fingers. And just see if you can bring your hands with the gentlest little pull. And pull is such a strong word. I don't even want to say pull, but a gentle guiding of the skull upwards. So just see what you can do with your own hands to sort of apply traction to lift that skull slightly up. So very gentle, trying to find space in that cervical spine, that articulation between the cervical spine and the skull. Just a little bit of a lift. The thumbs may be down by the earlobes. Just trying to find a little bit of length. Be curious, what do you feel? And then releasing those arms down to the side. We'll take the palms open. If you need to bend your knees, go ahead. We'll just take our head from side to side. So not super dynamically, just a rotation here to take us back to where we were at the beginning of class with that breath work that we did, just allowing the head to go from side to side, releasing any tension you might feel through the neck, the shoulders, front of the neck. And if you'd like to, you're welcome to come to center. If this isn't your thing, you don't have to do it. But if you come to the front of your neck, you can sometimes feel with the side of your pointer finger and your thumb, the muscle that sort of spans the skull to the sternum. If you want to give that little bit of your neck a bit of gentle massage, that might feel good. The sternocleidoid mastoid, if you're curious, probably the longest word in the anatomy textbook, is there. So you can just give yourself a little bit of massage just to counter that work we did by lifting and giving a little traction to the spine. And if not, you can just keep the head moving from side to side. And we will finally come to our final resting position. You can relax those arms down to the side now, dropping those shoulders down, taking your legs generously apart as much as you need. If it feels better to bend the knees and knock the knees together, that is also an option for you. Finding some stillness, finding an opportunity for our practice to integrate into our bodies. I'd like you to imagine a bright white light. And that white light is situated in the middle of your chest, or if you'd like to think of it, at your heart center. And you just want that white light to grow. It extends all the way across both shoulders, coming down towards the belly button. And that bright white light starts to engulf both legs and arms. That white light flows out every finger and every toe.
Finally, that white light travels all the way up your spine, moving up and down and all the way out the crown of the head. Let that white light give you warmth and give you brightness. Because truly, who are we not to shine? Quietly bringing your awareness back to your body, back to your breath. Take a nice couple soft inhales and exhales, allowing that air to bring nourishment to the whole body. And as you're ready, you can slowly push yourself onto one side, cradling the head with the arm, and taking some breaths there softly and comfortably. And as you're ready, you can press yourself up, finding a comfortable seated position. And so I have to give a reference where reference is due. The last kind of quote that I brought to you today about light was actually from Nelson Mandela. I read it last night and I thought, oh, this would be so nice for Shavasana. So that was, if you were hearing me, I said, who are we not to shine? And I thought that was so beautiful that he said that. It's in the book, Meditations from the Mat. It's a daily reflection of the Hatha yoga. So it's one of the books that my senior teacher had recommended. I try to read it every night, one kind of caption before bed. So that one was like, I'm taking that to class tomorrow. And so there it was. So we can bring our arms up, take a nice big breath together. And then allowing those fingertips to come together right down to the heart. The light in me sees the light in all of you. Have a beautiful rest of the day. I think we're going to have some gorgeous weather, so we'll have to get out there. Namaste.